Oh, yes, you too, yeah. More importantly, the official record needs to be started. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. The time is 9:03 a.m. Today is Monday, October 24th, 2022. I'm calling the special called meeting of Bee County Commissioners Court to order. We are physically located at Bee County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas 78102. That was the call to order. Would everybody please stand and join Commissioner Barrios in a brief prayer?
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the blessings that we have, the ones that we recognize, the ones that we don't. We ask you to watch over this court and all the decisions that it makes for the county, for the betterment of all the people. We ask you for an abundance of rain, and we ask you to watch over us during the end of this virus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now the Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Excellent. Welcome, everybody. We're on agenda item number 4. Agenda item number 4 is a recognized visitor. This is the moment in time where if anybody would like to identify themselves for their record, I'd love for you to do so at this time. There is no pressure. This is not public comment. So it's just, hey, my name's Joe Schmo, and I'm here, and I'm watching what you're doing. That is fine. If not, if nobody does want to identify themselves, there's no pressure. Welcome to everybody that has come this morning, and please keep coming back. Would anybody like to identify themselves for the record?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm Patty Alexander. I'm here to represent the Beeville Garden Club.
Oh, yes, ma'am, Ms. Alexander. Good morning, and I'll give you an opportunity, if necessary, to speak at the agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Is anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Hillary Lucas, and I'm with Hospice of South Texas. Hi, I'm Kim Moore, and I'm with Hospice of South Texas. I'm Lisa Welder. I'm with Hospice of South Texas. We're here, we're doing a proclamation.
Yes, ma'am, and I will, I'll get back to y'all on your agenda item as well. Thank y'all for being here. Is there anybody else that'd like to identify themselves? Thank you all.
Chief,
Everybody knows Judge Ronnie. My apologies.
Zoning.
My apologies. Moving on, agenda item number 5, Commissioners Court, opening remarks. Commissioner Hackert.
I really don't have a whole lot. Just been just tying up loose ends. There was a meeting with the COG group, and I want to thank the members that showed up and voting for the funds that are going to be available. I do think, in talking to one other commissioner, probably need to form a type of committee to watch the distribution of these funds, and I think we'll be having that on the agenda following down here. So, other than that, it's just been, like I said, tying up loose ends. Commissioner?
We're busy, road and bridge, and I got right here. Y'all finished Ellis Road? The front work, yes. Okay, we had AEP built that new substation further down, but they tore up the road. They paid for the material, so they had B County put it down, and that's what Ray was working on last week. So I've gone through the final project. I saw while they were working on it, but we got that knocked out there.
Excellent, thank you, Ray.
The BDA lift station, the RFQ finally went out, so this is what we've been working on for about 6 months, and it finally got completed, so it went out, so maybe in about 30 days or so, we'll have some contractors bid on that job. The Blanconia, we're still waiting, one more person to approve that, and then we'll move forward with the volunteer fire station over there. And then last we got a meeting with mediation with the jail, and that there's more information forthcoming on that. And then I do want to send out a shout out to Race 1000. That's a brand new race that came out to BDA, and that's first time here, first presence, German company that came out. There was quite a good turnout, and the bands that came for marching contests were here. Beeville was just covered, buses, and there were people everywhere Saturday, as far as that goes. There was quite a bit. Shout out to them. And Texas Mile will be just coming up.
Commissioner Fadias, tell us a little bit more about that Race 1000. Was it a road track or
It's
straight track?
Actually, it was a straight track, but it was a shorter distance, but there was also two cars competing against each other at the time. And this is something we haven't seen here. It's almost like a drag race type thing. So there was two cars lined up side by side, and they go down the runway for time, and they were moving down the bracket.
Public, but the drivers, anybody can?
Anybody can go sign up, and they did. There was a lot of people. I know that the restaurant week, German-speaking people. There was a lot of foreign people here.
They brought in people.
Because we had a hard time understanding, some of my cashiers had a hard time understanding what they were trying to order and stuff like that. So, hey, they were great. They did really good. So, it was well attended, and they look forward to coming back for a bigger and better event.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for giving us that additional information. As far as I go, I'm just gonna pass on, public comment, or my opening remarks. I'm not, it's been a busy couple of weeks, I assure you, but I don't know how meaningful anything, that I have to say is. There's a lot of, matters on the horizon that'll be coming down in, future, regular meeting, agendas or special called agenda meetings. So it's been a productive couple of weeks for the county, and hopefully we're finding direction and moving, forward and putting in the past some of the anchors that have been holding us down over the last several years. Sounds like it's more ominous, but it's not. Everything's going well. Moving on, agenda item number 6, public comment. Are there any members of the public who don't have an agenda item here present this morning that would like to address the court? Sheriff Selfmade.
Yes. I just want to take just a second. We had a very positive moment in our career recently. We're always just being overrun with the gloom and dooms of border, the drugs, the burglaries, the thefts, everything that can go wrong we have to deal with. So in law enforcement, there's not always a positive note. A couple weeks ago, we were nominated and then won the Board of Excellence from STEER, with the South Texas Energy and Economic Roundtable, and they're partnered with Texas Oil and Gas. And the award was for excellence in community and social investment. And this is an oil company, and we went to San Antonio and they presented the award. When we were sitting there, I was trying to think, why would an oil company want to recognize the sheriff's office? It's for our junior deputy program. It's not for anything that I did. It's for something that a lot of people did, and I want to recognize them. Rick Villarreal, Stacy Yonta especially. They spearhead everything at the office, and then we have Angel Care, Mickey Trevino, Ryan Trevino helping with the training. And the academy, if you're not familiar with it, it just covers a lot of aspects. But it's not a deputy academy where we're trying to get people to be in law enforcement. We're trying to get them to be part of the community and be good stewards of our community in South Texas. And apparently it's working. And again, like I said, it's nothing that I did, but it's from the work of these guys, and that's why I asked them to come up here today, just to show what's going on in Beeville County. There's a lot more to it than just the gloom and doom. There's a lot of positive out there. It just never gets recognized. And so I was really proud of the fact that the junior deputy program received this award. Excuse me. Thank you, Judge, for going up there with us to get it. He got a free meal out of it. So. But it was really outside the norm. And that's why I just wanted to let y'all know what was going on, some of the things in Beeville County that's happening, and with their junior deputy program and everything else. But,
Thank you.
And I'm scared. I'm going to be the one to break it.
Anybody else like to provide public comment this morning? Thank you to everybody at the SO's office for creating and then following through with our Junior Deputy Academy. It's a really neat program. Moving on, agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioner's Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve a comment.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Haggard, you have the floor.
Ms. April, anything stand out?
Well, I have my financials and investment, and also there's that contract and service agreement review that I was hoping y'all, would take a look at, print out, keep for the year, because it's for fiscal year '23, that Christina had put together of the contracts that are gonna be coming up throughout the year, just to kind of give you a heads up, a little cheat sheet. I thought that would be helpful to you all when those are coming up.
She's catching up with all of the comments.
She's trying, and this is one of the first, things that I had told her I really wanted to do come the first of the fiscal year, to help out, the court.
So we can have a heads up, yeah,
Uh-huh.
very good.
So financials, this is the last of the fiscal year, September. Of course, there's still entries being done, so this is just a snapshot for when our, ledgers were created. But if you want to go to page 5, you can see our revenues, are exceeded, collection, and this, like I said, is just a snapshot. We're still collecting, we're still, posting to the ledger, and accruing. But this is really great. We usually
Yeah, the
don't
numbers look
see
really,
this.
really good.
We usually don't see this at this time. We could exceed, but usually after we're, finished posting, so this is really positive. To see in our expenditures or.
We all just received these computers, we're learning
I
how
know,
to use them. It's a lot of fun.
keep scrolling.
So
Oh,
the
I'm
comp time,
looking- I'm looking
the
one
comp
way,
time
he's
that
looking
came up,
another.
that's the current comp time for this period? I saw the comp time.
Yeah,
Yes, that's from HR, and they submit, with the monthly reports, you'll get one every month at this time, the second meeting, to see how comp time is
Accruing?
growing. Yes, sir.
No questions for me.
Any other questions?
no, that was my concern.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Cantu. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8, approve fiscal year, 2023 Regional Public Defender contract between B County and Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid. Before I take motion on this, I'll go through a little explanation. Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid has revised the contract, the service contract, from last fiscal year to this fiscal year. What you see in your packet is their proposed contract with my proposed changes. There's one additional change in paragraph 4 on page 3, line 3, the clause that begins after the comma, a case shall only count as 0.5 of a full case, shall be revised to state that a case shall only count as 1/3, 1/3 of a full case. These changes were approved and accepted by TRLA, and I would ask or entertain at this time a motion to approve, subject to final minor revisions agreed to by myself, the judge, and the executive director of Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid.
So move with a question.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Yes, sir, Commissioner Buddy.
Keeps up with the 1/3 or 1/2 of the case, or?
So it's largely, I think of it as the honor system. This contract, and for the community, Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid is an indigent defense entity. It's a nonprofit entity based out of Austin, that I presume their first location was in the Rio Grande Valley. But in any event, their first criminal defense, indigent defense role was with B County with this contract originally, going on about, I think, maybe 11 years ago, 12 years ago. And this contract now encompasses indigent services for B County, Live Oak County, McMullen County. The current contract that we're approving includes Refugio County and Willacy County. I believe by the end of the year, both of those counties will be removed from B County. The reason why all the counties are lumped in with B County is our auditor's office, thank you, April, serves as the grant administrator. So B County is the grant administrator, the controlling authority of the grant, because the funds that are used to provide indigent defense to the citizens of B County, Live Oak County, McMullen County, Refugio, and Willacy County are substantially received from TIDC, which is the Texas Indigent Defense Council. And TIDC awards grants every year. They award about 2/3 of the cost of this contract, and the counties pick up the other 1/3 of the cost. So, I forgot your question.
The honor system.
The honor system, thank you. Yes, so managing that as who's the oversight member or oversight entity. This contract is the oversight entity for this contract is an entity made up of the county judges of the counties that I've mentioned multiple times, as well as our district judges, and then a member of TRALA and a member of TIDC make up the board. But we meet quarterly for us to be able to monitor this. And what Commissioner Farias is commenting is that paragraph starts out with, under certain circumstances, the case will only count as 1/3 of a case. Constitutional right to counsel attaches at the moment of arrest. So that's pre-magistration. Magistration is what happens when you are arrested and you're processed in your county jail, and a magistrate comes in and they admonish you, and then they set a bail amount, and that's your magistration process. So at that point in time, the constitutional right to counsel attaches. If you are magistrated but no charges are ever brought against you, and you have sought representation by TRALA, and I or one of the district judges have appointed TRLA to represent you, that case will only count as 1/3 of the case. Because and it's been a difficult situation, but the rub this year is that TIDC is enforcing case maximum guidelines for each attorney that is working within our region. So one attorney can only handle 150 cases, let's say. So there are case limits in the contract for each of the 3 counties. So B County, let's say we have 500 cases that we can appoint to felonies and misdemeanors, and there's a certain number of felonies and a certain number of misdemeanors monthly that we can appoint. If we go over that amount, TRALA under the contract can say, I'm sorry, you're over the amount, and we can't take this representation. So if we were to agree to a contract where every time I appointed somebody who got arrested, whose case won't be charged at any point in time in the future, I'm losing the value of the money that we're paying for and what TIDC is giving us, because those attorneys, they're just not really getting anything done. They're not actually having to provide any substantial representation of their client. So I broke it up into 3 parts. 1/3 if there's no information, 2/3 at the time a case is set for trial, and I can tell you felony cases are set for trial at your first hearing. So that'll be 2/3, but in my court, they're not. In my court, if there's a misdemeanor case, but there's also a felony, that misdemeanor case may not be resolved until the felony is resolved, which could be a year or 2, and nothing's really happening. And so 2/3 after a case is set for trial, and then a full point after that, after it's set for trial. So that's the idea. It is, and TRLA internally will keep up with it, and then quarterly they'll provide a report to us, and we can gauge whether or not we agree with their calculations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And and this is one of those things that we're very adverse with TRALA from an administration standpoint, from being a good steward of the have, and the funds are constituents' funds that we utilize to fund this contract. But aside from that component of it, TRLA is a great partner to B County and to our other partnering counties. Their attorneys are top level, their administrators work very hard to make sure that this process works so that they can provide not only efficient but and competent, but also excel with their representation of our constituents. Oftentimes, the attorneys that work for TRLA are younger attorneys. They're just getting started, cutting their teeth, so to speak. Baby attorneys is what we call them when I worked in law firms, and so it's a great opportunity for those young attorneys to cut their teeth, especially in my court on misdemeanor cases where the stakes are not quite so high. So there's all sorts of benefits to having indigent defense here, but the primary benefit is that any individual that is charged with a crime, whether they're one of our constituents or they're from some far-flung reach of the state or the nation, they are availed the opportunity to receive quality, competent legal representation in the event that they cannot afford it on their own. And that is, from the American dream standpoint and our constitutional rights, there are a few things that are more important to our freedoms that we enjoy. I'm off the. He's looking at me and he's like, when is he gonna just shut up?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I know you did. You're nice. Just want to get it all out on the record. I expect all the gunnas and the fixins to have apostrophes on them. If there's no further discussion or soliloquy by the judge, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Each agenda item is going to be like this today. At 5 minutes,
I'm not gonna
we'll
ask
need
you.
to talk.
I'm not gonna ask you.
No, ask me more questions. No, I'm just kidding. Agenda item number, not just a quick roadmap. The next 4 agenda items tie into the agenda item we just finished. Agenda item number 9, approve interlocal agreement between B County and Live Oak County, thank you, sir, for the Texas Indigent Defense Commission, TIDC, Regional Public Defender Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 10, approve interlocal agreement between B County and McMullen County for the TIDC Regional Public Defender Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 11, approve interlocal agreement between B County and Refugio County for the TIDC Regional Public Defender Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 12, approve interlocal agreement between B County and Willacy County for the TIDC Regional Public Defender Program.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 13, approve proclamation proclaiming November 2022 as National Hospice and Palliative Care Month. Would you all like to make any presentation to Commissioner's Court before I entertain a vote? You don't have to.
They would like to.
Oh, but a picture? Well, we can do that. But not, once we, if, let's see what the will of the court is first. You may not want a picture.
Move to approve is presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I think this is wonderful. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention and giving us the opportunity to shine a little bit of a spotlight on all the good work that you and others in your position do. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. We will take a photograph now. I kept my comments short this time. It's a little frog. Where are we supposed to be looking?
Look at Hope.
I didn't know if John was taking a photograph of this big.
I know.
Okay.
Was it good for everybody?
We're all
Let's
smiling.
see.
Okay.
Gotta be one good one in there. All right, thank you.
Now, I don't say this every time, but I'll say it this time. You guys are welcome to leave if you want, but if you want to stay and listen, you're welcome to stay as well. There's always a little hesitancy.
She'll,
when somebody
give
has
you
their
an
agenda
excuse
item
'cause you're gonna be
passed,
late
so
for work.
should we sit a little bit longer, or what's it? There's absolutely no necessity that you stay. Moving on, agenda item number 13, agenda item number 14, approve Texas Division of Emergency Management, TDM, proposed interlocal agreement concerning office space accommodation for TDM staff. Before we take a vote on this, I'll discuss it a little bit. Let me get to the agenda item. So, last week I met with Gary Barney. He is, Mr. Willow, what's Mr. Barney's, or Mr. Garza, what's Mr. Barney's title?
He's the disaster district coordinator for the state.
The Disaster District Coordinator for the state of Texas. And just again, I'll keep my comments short and pointed, but I would like to highlight that it was Gary Barney, who at the early stages of COVID, when B County reached out to TDM, it was to Gary Barney. Mr. Willow, Mr. Garza's relationship with Mr. Barney is strong, and that put B County in a favorable position when it came to obtaining resources to respond to COVID that included nurses, extra nurses at our hospital, ventilators at our hospital, medical equipment. I think mostly medical equipment, like fungible items for our purposes, for testing purposes. What else did TDM provide? Medicines. That the relationship and the efforts that TDM provided to B County to help assist us in responding to COVID cannot be understated, and the role that Mr. Barney played in that cannot be understated. As a result, in part of the COVID pandemic and the interrelation and the intersection of TDM, which traditionally, I think for most of our emergency management groups, would view more, this is something that pops up when, for us, a hurricane hits the Gulf. This COVID required more intersection of, like, dishes, the Texas Department of State Health Services intersecting their response, their coordinated response with TDM for emergency purposes. Our local emergency management group, as well as the groups in every county across the state of Texas, all struggled with this same confluence of state agencies and local agencies, uncertainty, and a little bit of fear. And so one of the solutions that TDM has come up with is they've created new positions called county liaison officers, CLOs. They have 122, is that right? 121, 122 that they're creating positions for right now across the state. And what a CLO, I met with Mr. Barney last week, and what a CLO it'll be a state employee embedded in a particular county, for instance, in B County, and that employee's role is to act as an additional layer of liaison, a stronger connection between our state emergency services and the needs of the county at that moment in time. B County is very fortunate in that TDM has identified B County as one of the counties where they're going to place a CLO. And during our meeting last week, Mr. Garza and I met with Mr. Barney. Mr. Barney inquired whether we would be able to provide office space for their CLO officer. Am I getting this all right? Is there anything you'd like to add, Mr. Garza? I don't mean to step on your toes. Okay. So the long and short of it is our emergency management center is located physically over at our Justice Center on the second floor, inside an open office area where space is shared with our district attorney's office.
Right now.
Yes, sir. And yeah, in the next 12 to 18 months, is that for spring? I don't want to jinx us. At some point in time in the future, there's an additional emergency operations center building that's going to be built over at our expo grounds. We're all very excited about that, but it's going to take some time. So in the interim, a TDM employee would location that sense for the role and for B County, which would be in our existing Emergency Operations Center offices, which are located behind the locked doors of our District Attorney's office. I do want commissioners to know, I spoke with Mr. Alexander yesterday. He understands and recognizes that while it's not a perfect system as far as security of his office, he fully understands and recognizes the value of EOC and the value of a liaison officer vetted with EOC. So he doesn't have any objections to us agreeing to provide this space. We don't really have an actual, this interlocal agreement that's been presented is something, because one thing that B County has traditionally and historically done in the past is if you're not an employee of B County, which the new CLO will not be an employee of B County, you don't have access to our facilities. So the only change that at this point in time that I'm recommending is that we, in the future, when we have a separate building, that situation will change. But because it's the District Attorney's office too, I'm not comfortable at this time providing a state employee or any person who's not a full-time employee of B County with unfettered access to our facility, especially the District Attorney's office. But subject to that one access provision, otherwise, I personally don't have any problems. I support the concept and what TDM is trying to do. If anybody has any questions for Mr. Garza, I'm sure he'll take them at this time.
We're going to end up policy regarding access.
I don't think we have a specific policy, but I'll check it, I'm sure. No further questions? Did we have a motion in a second?
No, sir.
No, because you were,
Okay, that's right, I'm sorry.
forgot the question.
Sometimes in the course of conversation, we become so enamored at the sound of our own voice that we forget what it is that we're talking about. I forget who said that, but I agree with that very wise, long dead person. Somebody would Google that and please get it to the county. I would love to know the author of that quote. I'd entertain a motion to approve,
Move
subject
to
to the
approve
comments.
is presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 15, approve and certify the district judge's reappointment of April Cantu as B County Auditor for a 2-year term beginning November 1, 2022.
I wholeheartedly approve, recommend that we accept this.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
She does a great job.
Her and her staff.
Want to keep her and all of her staff there.
Yes.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
I couldn't agree more. The timing was wrong. Yeah, no, I think we ought to spend a moment to acknowledge the value that Mrs. Cantu specifically brings to our auditor's office. And it's no surprise that the district judges support her as much as they do. You are an asset to the county, and we thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 16, approve the allocation of $240,000 of B County's American Rescue Plan funds towards the 8 volunteer fire departments located in B County in the amount of $30,000 each. Project number 2223.
Move to approve.
I'll second with a comment.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Farias, you have the floor.
Ms. Cantu, do these fire departments have direction on how to properly?
In this
Get these
interlocal,
funds?
it's gonna outline all of it, and so what we want is for the judge to sign these initial agreements, and they're gonna go out. Mrs.Iguria is going to, send a letter with the interlocals to the individual fire departments, and hopefully on the first meeting of November, whoever is ready with their signature, they can come in and the court can present them with checks at that time. Whoever has been able to sign theirs.
Wait.
Yes.
You gotta go through.
So,
Proceed.
November 14th,
You got steps to get that stuff.
we have
Okay.
steps, yes.
So,
So this is the first one for them, and they'll be able to see, all the requirements. That there's not many, but,
Is there any responsibility if they don't send them to the letter? Or-
yes.
To the
They're gonna
county?
be turning in a 6-month, little assessment, and then at the year, I believe it's, 12/31/2023 that they have, to spend the funds. But we'll be keeping, tabs on them.
But this kind of goes along with their wish list that they presented to the ARP committee, am I correct?
$30,000, they have to, of course, comply with, procurement and spend them on, their equipment, hopefully go towards, some of their wants.
It's the same rules that everybody follows.
Of course.
Great, so they have to follow the procurement rules, or do they have their own, or they're gonna follow the county?
gonna have to follow.
Yes.
I know we had to jump through some of those hoops with,
Yes.
the district, VDA, had to redo all those
Yeah.
procurement policies.
And 30,000, if they're just gonna spend it on one piece, it's just 3 bids, it's not over 50. So that kind of cuts down on the bid process unless unless there's another issue, but 30,000 is, our
Okay.
procurement policy is just 3 quotes,
Okay.
so.
Thank you. I'll take my 5 minutes on this one. No, I do, we shouldn't minimize or underscore, one, what a great idea this is, to the individuals that may or may not have brought this idea to our committee's attention, thank you. As well as, to the committee, our ARPA committee, they've been working pretty diligently, I'd say, over the last, has it been a year? It's been 18 months, 12 months, 18 months? It's been quite some time.
It's been a while.
This is one of those items that, has had interest, I think, for some time. And if we talk in terms of only 30,000, it's, and I understand, it's an auditor's point, it's under $50,000. So this is a substantial amount of money that, the county is providing, to, our local fire departments. And a large part of that is in recognition. Volunteer. They're all volunteer fire departments. Volunteer fire departments in the county play, in times of great need. And that's not only when there's a car wreck or a fire or a grass fire, of which we've had, brush fire, of which we've had, an inordinate amount this year over any other year that I've been aware of. But also during COVID, their assistance, with the county's response, with the general government, response has been wonderful. The individuals that make up our volunteer fire departments, they're the best of our community. And so from the county's perspective, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of the county, we're honored that we have the opportunity to provide, this, funding to our fire departments. We wish it could be more, but we do believe this is a meaningful amount that will provide some meaningful solutions. Our volunteer fire departments do not have to rely solely on government, support. If you're a member of our community, or if you're so inclined, no matter where you come from, please consider giving to our local fire departments. I'm not sure how many people in the nation really understand, when you get outside of our urban centers, that most fire, saving activities are performed by volunteers. These are people that have real full-time jobs where they get paid, and then they choose on their free time to go and protect those of us, the rest of us. Supporting fire departments, especially volunteer fire departments, is a meaningful, that you can support your community. So give till it hurts, and then give a little bit more.
I'd like to add to that, not only just whatever you can give, they're always looking for volunteers, always. Some of your volunteer firemen and women now are getting up in age and always looking for someone who can, I was a volunteer a long time ago, and it's tough to drag a hose now. It's tough to wander through the brush, it's tough to go into houses. So if you know of anybody who wants to volunteer, they're always looking for volunteers, always. And I think it's a great service to the county and to your residents around in the county.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without objection. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 17, approve issuing request for proposals, RFP, for administrative services and request for qualifications, RFQs, for engineering services for the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Regional Coastal Bend, Council of Governments, CBCOG, Method of Distribution, MOD, administered through the Texas General Land Office, GLO, for the County of D.
You don't have to explain.
It's a lot of acronyms.
Who brought this?
I'll say this is mine. So this was, in Commissioner Haggard's opening comments, he referred to, this latest round of funding. This, CDBG, is a huge, I think it's 170 million, is that statewide?
172.
172 million statewide funds, statewide. It's geared towards Harvey. These are Harvey funds that are coming down the pike. They're being distributed through the state of Texas to local councils of governments. Councils of governments are nonprofit, quasi-governmental entities whose boards are made up of elected officials and appointed officials representing public entities for the purpose of creating multi-district, regional response and economic and civic development opportunities. So there's many cogs around the state of Texas. We are part of the Coastal Bend Council of Governments. B County is, and do you know the total amount that's coming to B County or to the Coastal Bend Council of Governments?
Not the total council, no.
I think it's like in the 50 to 60 million, and
Somewhere in that range, and it's, I think, 7 entities.
And
will
yes,
have
sir.
that. Yeah.
And B County is slated to receive about $4.6 million of that funding. There are some restrictions to the use of those funds or the deployment of those funds, but they are a little bit broader than floodwater control. And so it'll be interesting to see what opportunities B County has that we can use to utilize these funds to get a jump ahead of things that have either been plaguing us for some time when it comes to certain flooding issues or issues that have popped up more recently. So it's a good amount of money. The city of Beeville is also going to be receiving several $1 million.
Yeah, it's a broad range. I actually stumbled upon this by accident, just kind of searching for it, and mine was strictly for trainings, but this covers a broader spectrum along with that. It covers several things.
Is that the one that you made a voting member of?
Yes, yeah, y'all made me a voting member, but actually Commissioner Lenny appeared at that meeting, and so he voted, and Mr. Mike Willow is our other appointee to the board, and he was present as well.
Thank you, Mr. Willow.
Did I have a motion on this? Have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? You want to hear me talk? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion passes without exception. That was a no.
I should have
Look.
asked, was that on the motion or for you to talk more?
Agenda item number 18, approve the Beeville Garden Club's request to conduct Veterans Day ceremony November 11th on the west side of the courthouse.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion?
No, just that this is an annual,
Would you like to?
would you like to say anything, ma'am?
Just that the Beeville Garden Club is once again looking forward to honoring our veterans on this special day, and we hope you all will be there.
And what time will the event occur?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably around 11 o'clock.
I thought so,
11,
yeah.
11.
And it's on the west side.
And
It's going to be right over here.
Ma'am, have y'all contacted Mr. Izaguirre about the grounds, or, I know last time he assisted y'all, they contacted your crew?
Well,
They
we're
use
doing
some of
it
the
right
power
now.
and they, no, I'm not saying he's gonna set it up for you, but
Oh, no,
some stuff
Yeah.
that it was available.
I'm sure you realize I'm a stand-in for somebody who knows what they're
All
doing.
right, I just don't want to blindside Mr. Izaguirre or something.
Yeah. No, we'll get
One, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here this morning. And two, last year, I don't believe we had really, it was just a kind of a small grouping
Yeah.
So please do show up. The same day, there's also going to be a, dedication of, historical markers, by the JET. But that's gonna be it too, is that right?
I'm gonna have a meeting with Mr. Nix today at 1:30, so I'll get all the details.
So we'll make sure we coordinate so that we're not overrun with people, but I can only imagine, that we can fit as many people as the Garden Club and the Historical Commission can bring, to these two events. And thank you so much for doing everything that y'all do for our grounds, and for, recognition of veterans here. Anything else? That's it. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Did we make a motion?
Yes, I do.
Very good.
Short-term memory is killing me today. Agenda item number 19, approve updated memorandum of understanding between B County and Children's Advocacy Center of the Coastal Bend to implement changes from the revised working protocol agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, Jim. Agenda item number 20, approve Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, Chief Executive Officer, CEO, Law Enforcement Certifications and Assurances Form for the B County Sheriff's Office. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
This is one we're gonna put on the policy?
No.
Part of the policy? No. Okay. Second, no, I'll withdraw that question.
Okay, no worries. Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. It's 1 hour.
Okay.
Agenda item number 21, approve updated standard alarm cells monitoring service contract with Dynamark Security Centers for the Justice Center building.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? This is Cantu, where everything's copacetic on this as well?
Yes, it was just one of the ones that Christina found that wasn't up to date with the other ones. So
Perfect.
they sent this additional
On
one.
the same note, Denmark completed the tax office work too. It's working really well.
Excellent.
Good
I
deal.
appreciate their efforts on behalf of the county. There's, did I take a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 22, approve updated B County permit fees schedule revised August 27th, 2022. Do we have any questions? I know we have Mr. Guerrero here.
Move to approve as presented.
And second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Are we gonna look at this like every year, every new year coming through? Because
because the last time it was revised was in 2013.
Yeah.
yeah, we need to look at it constantly, and then, I think you got some of the permit fees from the surrounding counties?
Yes.
Because some of those touch us right here and some of the same, items. Okay, very good. I'm done.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. Agenda item number 23, approve B County resolution approving the Coastal Bend Council of Governments updated master mutual aid agreement.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 24, approve recommendation from the Policy Formulation Committee for changes and additions to the following sections of the B County Personnel Policy Handbook, changes to section 6.06, compensatory time, addition of new sections 19.01, elected officials requirements, and 20.01, county storage / retention building. Before we get into this, I'd entertain a motion to table. I think it's probably important that we have all commissioners court present.
I agree.
Motion to table.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This item will be tabled until our next regularly scheduled commissioners court meeting, which Now that I say that out loud, I realize I probably ought to be saying what that date is. Do we know?
November 14th.
November 14th? Till November 14th, 2022. Thank you so much, Mr. Henson. I'm gonna turn around, but I don't wanna put Mr. Rodriguez under undue pressure.
How can I set up for me already?
Okay, so agenda item number 24 is tabled. There are no executive session items to attend to this morning, so we'll move on to agenda item number 25.
Motion to adjourn?
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Just going once?
Just the proclamation. So we want to sign that, because we don't have to go for it, or just a. Don't have to sign it. The one for the,
Oh, yes. We'll have to sign.
come on.
That's okay. We'll get it before you leave. We'll do this right now. If there's no further discussion on this adjournment agenda item, hearing none, all those in favor, wait, did I do that? We're adjourned. Thank you all for your
Just got to the
patience.
chair.
Roll.
I know.